Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to some more Let's Play the Occult Chronicles. Can you believe it's been a year? Seems like just the other week we're playing some Halloween games, right? We just got done with Eternal Darkness. We just finished our playing the Consuming Shadow in the Occult Chronicles. We just got done with Vampire the Masquerade Redemption, huh? But sure enough, it's September. And that means heralding in the fall season with some Occult Chronicles and Consuming Shadow again. Now, a heads up that I have recorded 2 attempts at the game already, but I detected myself not enjoying my playing through of the game, complaining overly much about the RNG in this game. And make no mistake, there's a lot of RNG in this game, and a lot of it doesn't work in your favor, especially at the very beginning and very ending of the game. But I didn't like how it came out, and so, well, this means that we get to start all over again, or I get to. And you guys will hopefully hear a much more relaxed, enjoying this game Tim, than the Tim that we had playing through this originally for this year. Now with that said, this is like the 8th year in a row that I'm playing this game. So I will make the assumption that most of you by now already understand this game, and I will not have to do a whole lot of tutorializing in it. If you're not familiar with this game though, I have a playlist on this game here up on my channel. In fact, you can go and watch the first few videos of this playlist where I will cover, I think, quite in depth how the game works and plays and why I do the things that I am doing in the game. Lastly, before we actually go ahead and make ourselves a new character, you should know, as usual, that we will be playing a modded version of this game. I have added quite a bit to the game in terms of new encounters, or rather encounters that we can do as the player, not new monsters or the like. And I have tweaked the balancing here or there just a tad to give myself a little more options. Now with that said, let's go ahead and make a new game. I'll make sure that my voice is coming out okay after we create the character. Make sure the cats aren't getting into things they shouldn't be getting in. And then we'll get going. So every year, when I play through this game, I always choose the Elder to go ahead and play the game through with. It's a decent mission. It's not too difficult. And it's Halloween thematic, given that we will be fighting off a vampire. But this year, why not play something a little different? We will play through in the belly of the beast this time around. Some idiot in research designed a new psychokinetic anomaly detector, and the high-ups decided that they needed to find an appropriate testing ground. That's where you come in. The Amity estate has been abandoned for years. The last tenants were reputedly driven off by poltergeist activity that was abnormally focused and violent. The Yard has listed the place as warranted for observation and quarantine, but a lack of resources had meant that surveillance has not been continuous. Your assignment is to visit the estate and determine its current psychokinetic activity level and its suitability as a proving ground for the new gadget. Now, usually when I'm playing through this game, these over here are the settings that I use. This is the settings I use. Slow story speed, which gives me time to actually try to level up to a decent level before we head into the basement. Agent difficulty, which is normal difficulty, which is rather punishing at the very beginning and at the very end of the game, and a bit, you can steamroll it if you do well in the very beginning of the game. And Reaper mode, which is basically Iron Man. This time around though, in order to stop myself from complaining as much, we're going to disable the story entirely. One of the issues with this game is that if you don't get lucky and you have the story speed enabled, you're running out of time. And it can be a few hours before you get to a decent experience point threshold to be able to handle some harder challenges, and by the time you're ready to handle some of the tougher ones in the mansion, you've got to go into the basement, which is great and encourages you to make some hard choices, but it also leads me to complaining a whole lot when we win yet another difficult encounter and I get no reward for it, because the story tokens begin getting drawn and I'm not getting stronger. So this should allow me to enjoy this a little more. On the same note, it will allow me to play this more difficult mission with you guys. We'll see how well we do. For a character, well, we did just read that we're going to be in this for the psychics, right? So how about this? We will play someone who I think I've used in the past, Doctor Whom. Not Doctor Who. No. We'll give him a little bit of health, sanity. We'll split his stats. You guys know by now why I like doing this, or if you don't, you really excel at this game if you make a character who can try to do everything. The game makes it very, very, very difficult for you to actually succeed at doing everything, but we're going to try our best to manage it. We're going to play a psychic this time around, which means, as weird as it's going to sound, we take swords to start. We want to increase the stat that we do not intend on leveling through the game through extra skill cards, and that, for this character, will be swords. So he's not going to be very good at using guns, or actually he's the best at using guns or swords compared to his other stats at the start of the game, but we're not going to be leveling swords at all. At least I don't think we will be. Next, for our starting bone, since I'm not intending on taking a skill card that gives me swords, we might as well take swords. We get a background to pick, so we should probably choose something like a mentalist. You knew you had the talent from the moment that you were born, maybe even before that. Wow! You managed to harness it and control it, but you realize that you are walking the razor's edge. Using your talent seems to pull at the fabric of fate. Bad things can and will happen. Luckily, the odd has been there to keep you sane. We start with the Wand of Bones. We start with a random psychic talent edge, a random psychic talent, a wands item, a fire talisman, and 5 starting skill tokens. It's a decent starting background. Not at all like circus performer. And then we get an edge. Well, let's think here. Okay. We'll try verbal intuition, something new for me. X additional cards are drawn at the start of any persuasion or deception challenge, where X is the level of the edge. Alright. And with all this done, let's start the game, look at our stats, and then I'll be right back here, everyone. We need to do the dishes before the cats get them. Today, the day I'm recording this particular part of this video, is August 17th, 2023. My intention is to get this up in the first week of September. Whew. And it's been rough. This has not been the easiest past month, both in caring for the stray cat family and because I've been sick. Some sort of weird food poisoning or digestive tract distress, we'll say, has been ongoing for the past several weeks, and it's beginning to take a toll on me. That and all sorts of different medications are also taking a toll on me. This hasn't been very pleasant. I'm sorry for breaking out my real life problems, viewer. Let's hope this creates the game in a few seconds. We'll cover our character, and then, once again, I'll put a small break here. The game creates the mansion from the ground, literally up and down, when it creates it from scratch. Then it saves off that into a file, which is why it's taking so long to create this. It doesn't create each room randomly as you open doors or at every floor. I think the entire mansion from top to bottom is made all at once. I have had the game crash once or twice during mansion creation. Alright, let's say it hasn't happened in a while, though. Alright, let's take a look at our character. Doctor Whom. We're starting with the dragon as a talisman. That's a fairly decent one. 70% chance to appear. I guess we'll quickly do a little bit of tutorializing. So, these are used when you fail certain challenges, and then these will show up in order to ensure that if you can... Never mind. We have more stuff in our wand's inventory than we have the capability of holding it. That's going to make this a bit awkward. We start with Heal Mind. Oh, that was really weird. It was like all of a sudden, the game like seized or something, and oh wow, we accidentally had to make another doctor. Who, you know, it was no problem. It didn't take me like longer than maybe 11 minutes to get back into the game with something that I considered to be decent to start with. No, it was this totally coincidence what happened right there. My goodness, obviously the game took a long time to load, so it must have been unstable. Yes, that's totally what happened. Yep. Alright, well, here we are, everyone. Yeah, we're at the mansion. God, I hope I remembered to select the right mission. We'll find out with either via the first clue token or the first encounter against the mission monsters, if I remember to actually choose in the belly of the beast, or if we're just playing the key in the gate. Guess we'll find out together. Alright, anyway, hello, everyone. We're back. At the mansion. For the first time, again. And let's take a look at the character that we've started with. So, we're starting with the Sacred Flame as a talisman. For our starting edge, we have Gifted. X is subtracted from the total encumbrance points of any psychic talent cards in your wand's inventory for the purposes of determining how many encumbrance points worth of cards you can have in your wand's inventory. Where X is the level of the edge. Okay. I think what this means is that we effectively have one of my cards, my psychic talent cards, are lowered by 1 point of encumbrance. Okay. I have to now explain what that is in case it is the first time you're seeing this game. Over on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see 2 numbers by each of these different attributes that we possess. This is the weight allowance on the right, and our current carry weight on the left, or encumbrance. God, I hope I'm saying that word correctly. So, here, for our wands items, Mind Shield, instead of weighing 2, weighs 1, which is why we have 2 of 3, total 1 encumbrance, being carried. We do have Mind Shield, which is, I think, a decent psionic talent. Roll 1 bone and select a played non-face card and transform it into a face card. 1 or 2 will give us a page, 3 or 4 gives us a knight, 5 gives us a queen, and a 6 gives us a king. Then add a trick to the field if space is available. Can be used in horror and psychic tests. We will not probably be able to use this effectively until our wands are at least 5, because I think if we roll over our wand's attribute while using a psychic talent, it fails to be used successfully. Unless we have a psychic talent bone? Oh, okay. No, we don't. Okay. That's the way that works. We have a pocket watch. Hey, that makes sense for Doctor Whom, I suppose, doesn't it? Oh, and the only thing this does is +1 wands. Okay, that's acceptable. So let's get started. Tim says as he listens because he thinks he hears cat-related things happening. I have the door shut at the moment to make sure that the kittens can't get in here and pressure me to play with them this evening. Let's start by going to the east side of the mansion to start. very small hallway, huh? With a trap waiting for us right on the other side of it. You hear a mechanism click and see motion out of the corner of your eye. A large pendulum swings down onto your location at a tremendous rate of speed. It looks like it could cut you in half. Well, this is an awful start. We may be starting over immediately. Let's see how well we can do here. So our choice is really, do we want to draw 5 cards and have 4 tricks, or have 5 tricks and draw 4 cards? I generally prefer more draw than tricks in terms of importance. So we're going to try to dodge the blade. Instinctively duck and roll away from the falling blade. And we failed this because our highest card is a 6 of swords. Oh, maybe not. At the very least, we'll take less damage from this. You tuck into a roll, but misjudge your distance from the blade. This might hurt. Okay, we're leaving. So we've lost 3 life, and we got an ill omen. So all we're going to do is walk to the entrance of the mansion and leave. We're just going to go over here and just delete the game. All right, there we go. All right, that was it. That was Occult Chronicles. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? That was pretty good, right? That was it. Fantastic. Good job. Great game this year. What a fantastic job that was. Holy crap. Woo, man. Nothing quite like playing some Occult Chronicles to herald in the new year. Thank you all for watching. This has been great. and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next game. Yeah, amazing. Simply amazing. You didn't think I was just gonna stop there. Though it was very tempting. So, yeah, hello. So, viewer, you have no clue how many times that has happened to me whenever I start recording Occult Chronicles. There have been countless videos where that has been, like, something as awful as that has happened within the first 20 minutes or so of starting up a new game. Either I've gotten a wound or impairment, or gotten an ill omen, or just flat out died in the very beginning of the game. So it's good to get one of those on screen. The good news is we're back. We're going to make another attempt at getting through the mansion with Dr. Whom the Second now. We'll see how well we do, I suppose, right? It can't get any worse than what just happened there. What happened there, by the way? Hear you asking, viewer who has never seen this game before in their life. We took 3 damage, which is 1/4 of our life, which is recoverable. That isn't that terrible. But then we got an ill omen. An ill omen, your character, in addition to these 3 stats that you see, has another stat which you don't see called luck. And ill omens decrease your stat, and good fortunes, I think that's what they're called, increase your stat. I refuse to immediately suffer an ill omen in the game. It makes everything that much more difficult. The same thing if I was to walk up, get hit with a trap, and suffer a wound or an impairment, I would just immediately start over. Instantly. Especially because I was playing for less than 10 freaking minutes. What is going on? Okay, it's okay. Anyway, hello, viewer. Let's cover Doctor Whom the Second now. We have a Solomon's Seal as our talisman this time around. Oh, okay. We still have the same edge. We still gained Gifted as our starting edge. And our wands item is a little better this time around. We have a toolkit, which gives us not only +1 wands, but has a special effect with it. Roll 1 bone, and then select 1 revealed non-face trick card, and bump its card value down, -X, where X is number of wands rolled. It says it can be used in locks, repairs, and technologies, but to my knowledge, it doesn't work on locks. I guess we'll have to find out together. Alright, so Oh, and Dominate. We have a new psychic talent this time around. Roll 1 bone and select a not revealed trick card. Discard it and gain X points to your trick-taking score, where X is the number of wands rolled. Gain 3 additional points if it's a face card. Oh, that's interesting. Your psychic... we'll talk more about this as we play the game together. Alright, let's get started. So, let's check the west side of the mansion this time around, shall we? Nice looking hallway. Some sort of small box in the center of it. Nice looking carpet. Not a trap of death. Oh, well, no, I'm lying, perhaps. You hear the twang, and look up to see a crossbow bolt heading your way and aimed at your heart. Well, we don't have a good chance at either of these, so you react immediately, tossing to dodge the deadly projectile. We have a King of Swords and 2 sevens are our highest cards. So a heads up that you will hear me mention whatever the 2 highest cards are in my inventory, on the off chance that many of you are listening to this in the background instead of watching me play. The King of Swords is a nice thing to have. We are praying we see a swords card appear. Any swords card will do. That's the best sword card we could also have hoped to have seen. In case you are not familiar with the game, when we flip over a trick card, that's what's shown here. If we have a card in our hand that is of the matching suit, we must play a card of that suit on this card. In order to win points, the card we play onto this card must be of a higher value than the card that we flipped. The Queen of Swords is the second highest card that can be flipped, with the King being the highest. So the King of Swords can be played on top of the Queen of Swords to earn us points. When you earn points for taking a trick, is what it's called, you earn points for all of the cards played and their total values. A King is worth 5 points, the Queen is worth 4, so this earned us 9 points. We had a target number of 6 points that we need to get higher than, or we're forced to draw penalty cards or failure cards. Because we scored over that number, we'll now draw victory cards instead. Here's an Ace of Wands. We have a 7 of Wands in our hand, so we have to play it. We are not allowed to click on any other card. We can click on win if we just don't want to earn more points, but there is usually never a reason why you want to do that. Always try to play as many cards as you can to earn as high of a score as you can. And if this is good, if we had flipped over the 7, I would have played the King on the 7 for fear of this particular type of encounter. This is a trap. Traps have some of the nastiest penalty cards you can flip over. Some of them could be instant death, some of them will be wounds or impairments and or ill omens. None of those you want. The higher amount of points you have over the target number, the more victory cards you will draw in compensation for your victory. You twist hard to one side and feel the breeze as the bolt narrowly misses you and flies by within a few inches. We have 5 cards because we scored, I think it was 6 points over the target number. Let's go ahead and flip them. There is no guarantee that you gain anything. Most of the time, in fact, you will gain nothing. Sometimes you get super lucky, though, and get some experience points. That was well worth it. Another thing, viewer, that's happened to me is I've played this game for anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours during a run and not gotten any experience points. While meanwhile, I'm flipping over the second story token. This is a very promising start for us. Then what I should have done, by the way, before I even stepped into the hallway last time, is I should spend some of this experience points. We have 7. Our starting skill card gave us 5. And so, we will immediately increase our wands a point by placing 2 experience points here. And then, I would like to improve my cups next, I think. Or my pentacles. Let's add a skill card immediately. So... Let me talk about the game really quick. Doing a little bit of tutorializing here. Generally, the way I play the game is I try to increase all of my stats somewhat equally. I don't want any stat to be forgotten. It's very difficult to beat the game if you have a very low stat, because at some point in the game you're going to begin encountering things that require that stat to pass them. Combat, physical combat, wants you to have high swords and cups. Mental combat wants you to have high wands and pentacles. Spells want pentacles. Psychic talents, puzzles want wands. Traps and trying to evade combat wants cups. Fighting generally wants swords. Leaving any one of those low will mean you will be severely punished for it when you decide to go down into the basement levels near the end of the game. So looking at this, I want something that can increase my cups and something else that can increase my pentacles. So looking over here, for example, I see that if I choose Atlantean Sorcery Specialist, I will increase Pentacles attribute, which means I can spend experience points to increase it, just as you saw me do for Wands. I'll be able to gain Atlantean spells, edges to help me cast those spells, and a bone to let me cast those spells. I generally choose Talisman Expert, just because of how useful the Talisman edges are, but I think we'll choose something a little different this time. We'll try the Eldritch Sorcery Specialist. Some arcane scholars contend that the power of Eldritch Sorcery is harnessed by draining it from an alien dimension. The danger of awakening things there is said to be very real. You fear that each time that you commune with this alien dimension, you are putting your very soul at grave risk. Alright. A music room? Organ room. That's probably the organ. To begin here in the game, you will see me walking on most of the circles that are gray in color. We're looking for clue tokens to make the final encounter a little easier. To be fair, we don't really need them. The final battle will be extraordinarily difficult no matter what I do, thanks to the game's AI automatic difficulty adjuster, which watches how well you're doing and tries to make it tougher for you. But I will at the very least search this entire room. Let's see what this is. You see before you a large and ornate, Baroque pipe organ. The bench before it sits empty. Suddenly your ears are filled with the haunting sounds of music resounding from the organ's pipes. The melody is terrifying, and you watch astonished as a ghostly vapor encompasses the musical instrument. You struggle to keep your fear in check. The haunting music threatens to drown you in a sea of melancholy and despair. Something supernatural possesses this musical instrument, and you must resist its effects to chip away at your sanity. 2 kings are our highest cards. 2 kings and 1 queen. That's very good. When you encounter an event, the vast majority of them will have, or a monster, you'll have to pass a horror check, which is what this is. Horror checks, if you fail them, have a chance to drain your sanity. Later on, they have a chance to make you go completely insane. I'll play the 4 on the 2, on the risk that we can use the king on one of these other 2 cards. And we can. That was still a 3 of pentacles. You shield yourself by humming a simple show tune that's bothered you for the last few months. You chuckle ironically at the fact that such a bad jingle that had annoyed you for so long actually came in handy. You stand before the pipe organ and struggle to make sense of what you have just seen and, more importantly, heard. There is a powerful spirit bound to this musical instrument via some nefarious sorcery or curse. You can feel the anger and rage building within it. You suspect it is getting ready to assault your mind again. We can attack it with our fists and try punching it to death. We can use sorcery to dispel the organ. That's not a fantastic chance, though, given our low pentacle score. We can try to engage it in a psychic duel to dispel the ghosts. Or we can communicate with the spirit to figure out what it wants. In almost every single instance, if a event can give you a quest, in other words, if you can somehow communicate with it, you're almost always going to want to do that. If nothing else, because you can complete the quest in some ways that will give you a chance of getting better rewards than just fighting it would give you. Communicate with the spirit. You seek to use your talents as a medium to contact the spirit inhabiting the pipe organ and divine what it is that binds it to this world. If you can figure out what is holding it from returning to the spirit world, you might be able to free it. King of Swords, Queen of Pentacles. That's a good hand to have two high cards of different suits. We get to start, though, by playing our 5 on the 4. Nice. I'm always glad when we have a king in our hand and we get to play it on another suit. Another face card. Yes, by the way, this is called a face card. Face cards are kings, knights, queens, and pages. Non-face cards are all other numbered cards. An ace is the lowest card you can draw to your hand. Knight of Pentacles. We have a queen. Your mind establishes contact with the spirit. You recognize immediately that what you are dealing with is the agony of hundreds of tormented souls. No, not souls, but a psychic pain that still resonates in the pipe organ. They want something of you. That is my belief. This is not accurate at all. It is my belief that the cards right around where the quest card is have the highest chance to give you rewards. Which is why I picked those 3. Alright, so let's see. Oh. Wow. That's very good. 3 experience points as well. You think that you finally understand what you are confronting. The disembodied death agony of hundreds of souls has accumulated in the pipe organ, either by design or accident. The negative energy manifests itself as a single entity, a self-aware super spirit of anger and rage. You suspect that you are witnessing the end result of many a black mass and vile sacrifice. It wants your help to free itself, to seek retribution. Many years ago, it was sabotaged by the will of its creator. It needs you to seek out its missing parts and a sheet of music that can release it from its trapped rage. First, find the grandfather clock where the missing parts are hidden. Then confront and destroy the evil organ master ghost that weaved the binding spell and hid the missing parts. It possesses a sheet of music that, when played, will break the curse. Let's immediately spend some of this experience points to increase our pentacles. And I wouldn't mind having another point in it. So we're going to immediately level it another time. Secret doors. Secret doors, I believe you have a chance to detect them every single time you are moving in a hallway that possesses one. And I don't think you can fail to detect one if you moved adjacent to it. So you'll note that we stepped on these 3 spaces and didn't find it. Then right here we did see it right next to us. Let's take a look at it really quick. You discovered a secret wooden door. It blends in almost seamlessly with the wall, but your keen senses were still able to detect it. Finding it is one thing. Figuring out how to open it is another. We have a decent chance, actually, of finding the activation mechanism with a 3 target number, 4 tricks and 6 draw. The only issue with locks is that you can get ill omens from locks, and I'd rather not get one so early on if I fail this. I wouldn't mind having one more pentacle or one more wand level up so that we can have a 5 trick or a 2 target 7 draw. So we'll come back for this. The plant room has 1 or 2 monstrous plant encounters in it. A giant man-eating plant, and the Triffids can be in here. This event could also be the busts, which is a quest what we would want. A clue token. The air has grown acrid and stings your skin. Your eyes have begun to burn as well. Something doesn't want us here. There's another encounter here, too. Alright. Let's see what this one is first. You notice a row of sculpted marble busts against the wall. You count 4 until you notice that one has fallen to the floor and subsequently cracked in half. A sudden chill comes over you as you watch in amazement as the faces on the bust begin to move. Lips pucker and cheeks flex as if they were warming up for something. And then they begin to sing. You hold your hands over your ears, but the ghostly singing will not cease. Some jingle about grim grinning ghosts flows from their lips, and you just wish the noise would stop. It might drive you crazy if it doesn't. King of Swords, Knight of Wands. I'll play the 10 and hope we can play the Knight on a different card. Pass the challenge. Alright, well, we had to play the Knight there. Oh, nice! We get a few more points as well. You start grinning right back at them, and it seems to annoy them greatly. Generally, when you win horror challenges, the only reward you will tend to get from these is just sanity, unless you have Arcana cards or some other passive edge which will change that result. The chorus of talking heads continues unabated, even though it has no further effect on you. The heads seem to be having too good a time to stop. You are certain that some sorcerer's curse has bound spirits to these busts as some form of punishment. Just who was being punished, though, is an open question. You decide to use your expertise as a medium to attract the bust's attention and see if you can find out what their story is. They might have useful information, since they seem to have been sitting here for quite some time. I'm going to choose to fail this encounter. You enter a trance and try interrupting them. You raise your voice. You ask politely. They are too caught up in their singing to even notice you. So, we failed this challenge, and because we have a target number of 1, this means that we'll only ever have to flip over 1 negative card. To my knowledge, the only thing we can get here from a difficulty required 1 challenge, and in particular a persuasion lore failure, will be minus sanity cards. I don't think we can suffer from anything else, so I'm willing to risk drawing 1 bad card from this encounter for failing it, on the hopes that we can get a really good hand and gain a bunch of points by winning the encounter. The game did not make this any easier for me. Alright, we have a King of Wands and a Page of Pentacles. Yeah, I'm willing to play this out. We'll play the King on the 9. Nice. We get 8 over the target number? That's acceptable. You enter a trance and start singing along with them. It's painful, but by messing up the words and being dreadfully out of tune, you get their attention. Soon they are begging you to stop. That's when you take control of the conversation. The busts were once members of a family that resided here. The story is muddled and conflicting from the various heads, and you are sure they are lying about what happened to some extent. But the short of it is that they were cursed by a Black Lodge sorcerer. They're unanimous in their opinion, though, that you can help them. The sorcerer also cursed a statue of a gargoyle. It resides somewhere in the house. It contains a coin inside that, when used properly, can break the curse. Your eyes are immediately drawn to the dancing flames. They seem to have no source of fuel, but are confined to a chalk circle enclosing a pentagram. At each point, a small votive candle still burns. Then you notice a robed body sprawled on the wooden floor. You step closer. As you advance step by step, you begin to feel uneasy. You sense a powerful evil presence in the room, and a chill runs down your spine. A face takes form in the flames, and you stop in your tracks. It seems to stare into your soul, and you are afraid. This thing bound within the pentagram is demonic. Of that there can be no doubt. You must focus your mind and overcome the swelling sense of panic that the creature's gaze has sent through your entire being. Queen of Pentacles, Page of Wands. And just like that, we win the horror challenge. I did not explain, by the way, viewer, how lucky we were that the first Doctor Who we had locked the game. Yes. You've kept your sanity, and you break eye contact with the flaming demon. You'll know better than to look it directly in the eyes again. So the psychic talent card, I guess let's read this first, then I'll explain. Then I'll take a small break and we'll be back to continue more of this episode. You have stumbled upon the scene of demons. You have stumbled upon the scene of demon summoning gone wrong. The power within the pentagram circle has obviously lashed out at its would-be master and killed him outright. What the hell was he doing here? Avoiding contact with the demon's fiery eyes, you examine the scene more closely. You notice that the chalk circle has been broken ever so slightly. This must be what led to the demise of the robed figure lying prostrate before you. Who knows what this poor evil soul had in mind that would compel him to consort with demons? You must tread carefully here. Complete the circle. Banish the demon. Bargain with the demon. With the chalk circle broken, you wonder why the demon has not attacked you. Perhaps you could try and communicate with it and see what it wants. It's a choice that should be considered carefully. You know from your training that demons will seek to deceive and dominate you. Queen of Swords, Queen of Cups are our high... sorry. 2 queens, 2 tens are our highest cards here. I'm willing to play the queen on the 4 to win the challenge. If we fail this challenge, we will have a new event upon returning to the challenge options. The demon will try escaping the pentagram and attacking us, and I don't think I want that to occur. Which means I'm not going to play the 10 on the 4, because that gives us 2 out of 3 points. What are the odds that these last 2 cards are a cup card, and in particular that they're either the Knight or Page of Cups? The odds of that are extremely low. So I want to play the Queen on the Ace. Good choice, Tim. The 10 of Cups we have takes everything that the Queen can take, with the exception of the Knight or Page of Cups. Initiating the communication via the lost sign language of Childash, you establish contact with the demon. It claims to be a prince of hell, but you suspect it exaggerates. It wants you to do something for it, and it promises to reward you if you hold to the bargain. A feat! Wow! A free feat! Alright. By feat, I don't mean what's attached to your legs. I mean we gain a special ability. When you successfully do a quest challenge to get the quest, there's a decent chance that they'll have something like Burst of Speed, or maybe a weapon, or maybe a spell, or something of the sort. It's another reason why when you do these challenges, you want to make sure you win with a good point score. because the flipping over more cards gives you a better chance of getting these results. A heads up that I do not think these results are set in stone. I have no way of knowing, but I don't think that's the case. I think as you flip over each card, the game right then and there decides what you're going to get as a reward. That is not the case for the trick cards, but I'm pretty sure it works that way for the reward cards. Alas, though, I have no way to verify it. The demon wants your help and threatens to kill you and take your soul just as it did this sorry acolyte lying at your feet if you do not cooperate. In this house, a worthless servant of his has been trapped in a ritual of summoning. It was bound by the acolyte to a fireplace as a cruel joke. On its mantelpiece is an old slip of paper with writing on it. Bring the paper back here so that he can release his servant and punish him. If you do this, he promises a reward fitting your task. Alright guys, I'm going to put us another break here and I shall return. Hey everyone, good morning. Alright, I'm back for like another 30 minutes of Occult Chronicles. Just got done eating breakfast. Hello button, you have a good day. I'll see you later. Watching the kittens tear through the house, playing with each other this morning is great because it means I don't have to break out the worm toy to play with them. Alright, so what did we do last night? Well, we've begun exploring the west wing of the mansion. We've acquired 2 quests, and we're very lucky with some early on experience points, right, to get another... Oh! to get another... to get another skill card. A trap. Suddenly, you look up and see 2 scything blades racing down the hallway at you. They are razor sharp, and suspect they might be able to cut you in half. Well, we have a slightly better chance to actually duck under the blades, so let's try it. You don't see anything coming at you at a stagger at a lower level. You decide that the smart move is under the blades. Queen of Swords and 2 Knights are our high cards. Their others are very low. We have 4 tricks. God, please don't be like a King of Swords up there. 4 of Swords. Okay. We don't mess around with traps. So, even though there might be arguably a better card up here, the odds of it are not very good. Of there being even another Swords card. And our 3 can't take the 4. So we play the Queen. The closer you are to the target number, even if you don't succeed, the less penalty cards you are going to draw in the resolution phase of the game. Nine of Wands, we can't beat that. 8 of Swords, can't beat that. Ooh, we don't get to play either of the Knights and we fail the challenge. Your reflexes are getting slow. Hope you come out of this alive. Took a nick to our neck, but we lived. That could have been ever so much worse. If we got a wound, this Doctor Who would be walking out of the mansion too. Then I might have actually called it quits this year. It's been a rough Occult Chronicles this year so far. Chapel. There's a chandelier which I think can be in here. A chandelier trap, which is nasty. We don't want to really fall into that. There could be a ghostly bride in this room. I think the gargoyle statue could also be in here. So why don't we walk in? The hairs on the back of your neck stand straight as the psychic energy in the room spikes suddenly. You look around frantically, wondering what could be causing it. You feel an evil presence growing quickly. A voice speaks into your head. Get out! Suddenly the wall next to you seems to form a gigantic mouth with jagged teeth, and you recoil in terror. This is the mission monsters. I think there'll be at least one more type of this encounter. We've never, or very, very rarely have ever seen this before, because this monster is unique to the mission we are playing, the In the Belly of the Beast. You can feel the psychic energy of an evil entity gathered up and embodied in a gaping maw that occupies the center of the wall. It's truly terrifying. Oh, awful hand. 8 of Cups and a 6 of Pentacles are our high cards. Is that rain outside? It is. Well, that's nice. I might not have to might not have to water the plants today. Oh, wow. Okay, well, we do take less damage from the horror check. You can feel the evil entity's psychic energy pushing down upon you like a 10-ton weight. You feel like shouting out that you will leave if you just please not hurt you. If it will please not hurt you. We don't need to take this. It's a psychic challenge. And I'm not expecting there to be something like an impairment or an instant insanity up here. I never did explain that one psychic talent last night, did I? The one where the game locked up. Right, the game locked up. I was so lucky that the game locked up and that I did not actually cut the recording and quit. Yeah, the game locked up. Is what happened there. That psychic talent can be used on a sandy card like this to discard it. It's not a very good talent. It's arguably one of the worst ones you could probably get in the game, because I don't care about losing 2 sanity. I mean, I do. We don't want to die, but we're very, very unlikely to suffer insanity as the game proceeds onward, as we increase our Pentacles and Wands stats. It's very, very rare that the odds of that happening are rare. The house itself seems possessed by some psychic entity that can alter the physical aspects of the house itself. It wants you out, and it seems intent on enforcing its demand. You tell yourself to be careful. This thing can probably not only swallow you whole, can most likely also lobotomize you with a single attack. A psychic attack. Man, I put too much milk in my coffee. It's warm. So, we do not have a good chance to beat it up. We do not have a good chance to use magical powers against it. We have an okay chance to psychically duel it, and we don't have a good chance of fleeing it. Oh wow! All right, so, well, if our choice is really coming down to fleeing or fighting, I would almost always rather fight it, since fleeing will leave it here. So we'll try 1 or 2 rounds of fighting before we end up fleeing. The house, let's see. You can sense an intelligent... Did I read this already? Yeah, we read that already. You can sense an intelligence behind this possession. You decide to focus your psychic talents on driving back the psychokinetic turmoil that has manifested here. That's not a good hand. Page of Wands, 8 of Cups. We need 8 as a target number. So this is not likely going to work. We're going to use Dominate here. Oh, no. Well, we can try. So we dispelled that card. Wait. We then drew a 4 card? Roll 1 bone and select a not revealed trick card. Discard it and gain X points to your trick taking score. X number of wands rolled. Okay, so we gained 4 points. We must have had this 4 in our hand to begin with. Well, we lose. You enter a trance and push back on the local psychokinetic energy. Energy? The evil entity becomes enraged and strikes a powerful psychic blow. You fall to your knees in agonizing pain. Well, we'll do that again. King of Swords and a bunch of high number cards. 10 of Pentacles. Not a bad hand. I dare not use this again. Every time you use psychic cards, you gain something called psychic pushback, which is a number we can't see. that number, the greater the number, when you flip over a card during the results phase, could make something that would be a positive card a negative. You could draw bad cards during a reward section, and I believe they increase the chances of you drawing things that are really horrific. So we don't really want to use our psychic powers very often. Well, that was awful. Nothing but high face cards over there that took our number cards. We flee. If we can, which it looks like we're not going to be able to flee either. You try to run, but a tongue like tentacle wraps itself around your foot and brings you crashing to the floor. You scramble to get away. Welcome to Occult Chronicles. Oh my god. Try running again? Come on, wands. Give us a wands card up here. Nope. Try again. Nope. Alright, I'm going to complain a little bit after all. I've done a review on Occult Chronicles, and this game is pretty horrifically balanced. The beginning of the game is very difficult. The ending of the game can be very difficult if you haven't built your character to be a jack of all trades. You can end up in this situation that you're seeing right here, in that we can't run, we can't win. We have to get super lucky to get a, well, not super lucky, but we depend upon RNG being very kind to us, and there is no guarantee it will do this. It can be very demoralizing in this game to fail over and over and over again, and for you to be unable to get away, or fight successfully, or win battles repeatedly, only to not get any rewards for it. It's a really grueling game. Unfortunately for us, or fortunately for us, we are not drawing too many negative cards in our attempts to get the heck out of here. The game, so there's a few things about this particular encounter as well. This encounter is the third, we chose the third mission for the mission we wanted to play. This is significantly tougher than the Elder would normally be, and the creatures that we fight there, the Protectors. It's one of the reasons why I don't play the other missions beyond the Elder very often. They are very difficult. The random encounters you get are much more difficult of this sort. Next, we did raise our wands to 4, so the game's likely looking at our stats and saying, oh, you have a, well actually, so the game has an auto balancer attached to it, which can make some of these encounters much more difficult than they would otherwise be. But I do see only 12s here. Do you see the number over here on the far left? 12? The auto balancer did not come into play here, or that would have been a higher difficulty. I guess we'll fight it. King of Wands, Page of Wands. Nope. Looks like we might actually go insane after all. King of Cups, 10 of Swords. Thank God. Wow. The urge to curse and swear is overwhelming when a battle like this happens. Maybe we'll recover some of the sanity we lost. That was awful. Wow. 5 rounds against a potentially extraordinarily dangerous enemy. You enter a trance and push back on the local psychokinetic energy. It tries to evade your grasp, but you finally manage to contain it and disperse it into other areas of the house. No doubt the evil entity will reclaim it, but for now you are safe. Man. My recollection of those encounters, when we get them, is that unlike other creatures, they can't chase you. But they'll stay in that spot forever until you come back to actually try to best it. And they can spawn in other areas of the house. It's not like you only have one random monster show up. So, we'll have to keep that in mind. You hear the soft beat of a human heart. It seems to slowly grow louder. The air around you becomes cold, and you start to see your own breath. Suddenly, a ghost materializes directly in front of you. It is a ghost of a woman dressed in an elaborate bridal dress. The sight of her is quite a shock. The sudden appearance of the ghostly bride threatens to send you into a panic and damage your sanity. Queen of Swords, Nine of Swords are our high cards. We'll play the Queen to win the challenge. Darn it! Shouldn't have. Should have played the 9, it looks like. We still win. You've seen things far worse than this. You just fought a piece of the house and a giant mouth opened up and almost swallowed you whole as you scrambled to get away from it. A ghostly bride hovers in front of you. You are alarmed to notice that she seems to transform herself across a range of apparitions. At times she's a vision of calm, innocent beauty, and then her eye sockets seem to empty, and she appears fully skeletal, a harbinger of wrath. You sense some traumatic event has bound her here, and she seems to be longing for the return of something. You decide to use your psychic talents as a medium to find out why the ghostly bride is waiting here. I want a better hand than that. You enter a trance and try talking with the ghostly bride. She babbles incoherently about wedding plans. You can't make heads or tails of it. King of Swords. I hate flipping over something like an ace like this, because now I want to play the page to win the challenge, but now I'm hoping there's a swords card up here. We'll play it out. There is. We'll play the king. Darn it! We still got 8 over the target number, so that's still good. You enter a trance and soon are talking with the ghostly bride. She explains that she is waiting here for her betrothed, who is late for their wedding. She wants your help. Her name appears to have been Constance, and she is waiting for her betrothed to appear and marry her. You get the feeling that she's been waiting a long time. She wants you to find him, but has no idea where he has been hanging out. She is certain, though, that he is somewhere nearby. Okay. Whew. We should probably either increase our wands next, or get another skill card and give us something that will give us cups next. I think we do want that next. Now I'm going to try something a little different this time. And we're going to try to, well, should I? No, we'll still explore a good portion of the house, but not every single step. Actually, no, Tim, you're not on a timer. You're on no timer, so there's no reason why you shouldn't explore every single spot on the map, if you can. I mentioned an auto balancer briefly. If you're not familiar with this game, the game tries to adjust a difficulty level based on how well it thinks you're doing. It tends to make things harder a lot more often than it makes things easier. But during challenges, when you're playing the card game, losing a challenge by some significant amount, like let's say that you get 3 under your target number and then draw 2 bad cards, the game might adjust up you might get one more trick from then on for the rest of the game, or by the rest of the game I mean that particular encounter, or you might get one more card draw, and the same thing might happen several times in a row depending upon how well you are or are not doing. Nothing in the tool room today except for us. They must have the music from the organ piped into this room. And the tool room's right next to it, and there's a conservatory nearby. Interesting layout. Maybe this isn't, okay, well, hold on. I see some evil-looking statues here. That one looks like death with a scythe. So maybe this isn't a chapel to, like, you know, God. It's a god, Wait, it's not like Sunday morning church. You see ghostly wisps of smoke rising to the ceiling. You follow the wisps down to a large, comfortable leather chair sitting in the gloom. Suddenly, you see the illumination of a cigar end, and with that, a ghost materializes sitting in the chair. You're confronted with a supernatural manifestation that sends a chill down your spine. Well, it's really pouring rain again. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I want to water the plants today. Alright, hello! Horror check. Let's see if we can pass you. Oh, wow, we get lucky enough that we can even play the king we had in our hand, huh? You have kept your sanity. You admire the ghost smoke circles and wish you had a few cigars on you right now. Never smoked anything in my life. Oh, not true. I smoked a tobacco pipe once. And then I had my stroke the next day. So on the off chance that caused it, I've never smoked anything ever again. I've heard cigars can taste very good. Sometimes they can smell really good too. The gentleman ghost sitting in the chair puffs away on his cigar and smiles back at you. He looks like the jovial old uncle that you never had. You can sense that he is impatient though, as his demeanor turns from a smile to a frown. Perhaps he thought you were a servant. You decide to use your psychic talents as a medium to try and find out what the ghost is doing here. He might have information that can help you. King of Swords, Knight of Wands? That's fairly good. Oh, I just remembered. I gotta change the kitty litter. I'm gonna wait till the rain passes. Alright, very good. We won! You sit down in the chair across from him and enter a trance. Mistaking you for a servant, he thinks you're impertinent at first. Then he realizes that you still might be able to help him. He needs a favor done. Huh, my good man. I'm almost out of my cigars here. Would you be kind enough to go and fetch me a few? The ghostly gentleman leans back and puffs out a huge column of ghost smoke. He fixes you in the eyes and says, "There's just one catch, of course. More like a inconvenient challenge, actually. You'll see what I mean." Another clue token. You hear a very faint heartbeat coming from somewhere within the walls. There are, I believe, two or three clue tokens on the first floor, 1 or 2 clue tokens on the second, 1 in the attic, 1 in the basement level 1, and I think the Uber clue token is somewhere on the basement 3rd floor. I don't know if we'll be able to get the Uber token, but we may give it a try since we're not on a time limit. But the basement's going to be horrific thanks to all the traps that are in there. So we just found a staircase that goes up. What I like doing is climbing up the stairs to put it on the map, but then we come right back downstairs and continue with the first floor. The encounters you have, oh my goodness, I can't speak today. The difficulty of the encounters you have are dependent upon where you are in the mansion. The difficulty, to my recollection, is as follows. First floor, the backyard, the 2nd floor, the attic, basement level 1, basement level 2 and 3. You see a locked wooden door. There's a worn keyhole right where it belongs, but no sign of a key anywhere. You examine the lock mechanism and decide that you just might know how to finesse it open. King of Cups, Knight of Swords. 4 tricks, though. Okay, good. I have farmed these on occasion, but I would really rather not do so. Oh, we have a toolkit. I forgot about this. Roll 1 bone, and then select 1 revealed non-face trick card and bump its card value down. Okay. So let's flip over another. Well, we don't really need to use the toolkit on that, so we'll play the knight. And we win. Nice, get to play most of our cards, too. You are just as talented with the lock as you thought. The mechanism clicks, and you turn the knob to open the door. We can get some nice stuff from this. There's experience points, sanity gain, and also good fortunes. Aura of fortune. Auras of fortune. We're going to aim for a Cups card next. Both of these doors look like they go to the same room. Oh. The servants' eating room? Kitchen? I don't like it when an encounter is right directly on the other side of the door like this, but I don't think we're going to have it. If I want to explore this, we have to step here. Hopefully it's not a knife. You think that you hear someone whistling at first. The gloom seems to part, and you encounter a figure engaged in a task of some sort. It's dressed in clothes from a previous era. As you come closer, you realize that you are in the presence of something supernatural. The figure is transparent and seems to glide here and there as if floating on air. No matter how many times you see something like this, it's always a bit of a shock. Your touch with the supernatural threatens to chip away at your sanity. Calm your mind and resist the terror that wishes to overwhelm you. Page of Swords, 8 of Cups. I generally don't complain about horror challenges, by the way, when I play the game. You get them once per encounter, so you're versus an event or creature. But they do slowly chip away, generally, at your sanity. It isn't until you reach the basement that they become really dangerous to fail them. At this point, you've almost gotten used to the spectacle of spirits of household servants scampering around their old haunts. The ghost that you are observing was obviously once a baker. You recognize the distinctive clothing and discern that it appears to be going through the motions of preparing bread for the oven. You sense, however, that it's agitated. It keeps repeating the same motions over and over as if stuck in some type of circle. It pays you no attention whatsoever. You decide to make contact with the ghost and listen to its story. Many focused hauntings like this have some unresolved business here in this world. Maybe you can help. Sure, we'll play it out. You have a Queen of Wands and a Page of Cups. Flip over the King of Cups. There we go. I do like having a lower card so we can keep the face card if we do end up drawing something like a king. Nice. A 9 over, we'll draw 7 victory cards. You enter a trance and psychically reach out to the ghost. As you suspected, the ghost is caught in a psychokinetic rut of a sorts. It's not fully aware of this, but it seems eager to talk. I haven't any time for you, shouts the ghostly baker. Unless, of course, you can get my oven working again. It's wandered off somewhere, but I need it cleaned and fast. It's time to make the donuts. The ghostly baker pays you no more heed and goes back to his endless preparations. You will need to find this oven and clean it. Alright, guys, we'll search this room and then we'll call it a session. That was a fantastic encounter. We got back, what was that, 7 sanity and 2 experience points. This is probably an enchanted knife. But I guess we I'm gonna avoid it at the moment. And what the heck? Oh, okay, well, this makes sense. There's a servant's kitchen here, and there's a servant's quarters right next to it. This is probably another sort of like workroom or tool room or something of the sort. And the butler's room is right next door. Oh, I like it when the game creates things that look like this. And it makes sense how the mansion is laid out. But I'm babbling. We will stop here. Thank you for watching, everyone. And I will see you maybe in the next one. Take care, everyone.